Welcome to Vancouver Carpenter. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to install paper drywall tape with a mud tube. So I really don't like this method, but I'm just going to show you guys basically how it works. We got this like giant mud syringe here. We got this applicator head that goes on the end of a ball here. It's got a little hole in the tube. It's a drywall squishy mud thing. Anyways, the point is, it's ideally supposed to leave a nice, like 2-inch to 3-inch wide swath of mud across the joint, and then you go and apply the paper tape while using one of those little hip holster things. It's a pretty straightforward thing. So yeah, I don't really like this method. I find it kind of slow. I don't see there to be much of a benefit over just hand taping, because there's a whole extra step added to it compared to the way I normally tape, which I'll get into in a minute. But let me try and think about a few benefits of using one of these. So one of the benefits to using one of these is that you don't have to pre-fill your joints as well or as much, because as long as the joints open a little bit, and now I mean like 1/8 at the most, because you're forcing the mud in with the compound tube, it actually does a really good job of pre-filling the joint, of filling the whole thing. Okay, the second thing that's actually kind of nice about this is it's tidy. I don't have to wash my hands between applications of tape. And also, because I'm using a knife to tear the tape, it just looks tidier. So overall, in the end, it looks a little bit more professional. All right, but now let's get into what I don't like about it. So one of the things I find is it actually puts way too much mud on. So the reason I don't like this is it's just way more trips back to the pan or the hock, right? So you're like wiping 1 foot, big globs of mud, wipe it on the hock. It's slow. And I think in time, yes, you could get pretty darn good with it and get it dialed in to the point that it is a little bit more efficient. But overall, yeah, I just find that I'm spending all my time and energy going back to the pan and the hock or whatever it is I'm using. All right, the next thing that I don't like about it is it's sometimes hard to center your mud exactly on the joint. So when you go to lay the tape over top, you can't always see exactly where your joint is. So after that, when you've got all your tapes wiped out, you might notice that a lot of your tapes aren't centered on the joint as well as you wanted them to be. Another thing that drove me crazy about using this is that I found myself having to be so careful at intersections. So when, say I'd done all my butt joints already and then I'm going and doing the flat joints, like loading it with mud, this wants to catch and pull the tape all the time. So it's really not good that way. You kind of have to go really have to slow down at your tape and lift it down a little bit and then put it back up. So for those parts, I find it pretty inefficient, and it really sucks when you pull the wet tape off. Right, the other thing I found kind of annoying is that this one, at least, is a little bit sloppy on the ball joint here. So when I'm trying to get it up into the ceiling, it's flopping all over the place and not in the position I want it to be. So I definitely found that to be just cumbersome and annoying. And now, all that stuff aside, probably one of the #1 reasons that I didn't like using it is there's a whole extra step. So first I have to load the joints, and I can't load as many because the mud's just hanging out there drying, and I'm not moving as quickly with this as I am with my my little Columbia Super Taper guy. So I can't tape as many joints at one time as I can with that. And like I said, there's so much mud there, it's harder to wipe out. And the mud starts to dry out more. But I think I forgot to even mention the step that I don't like. Yeah, I don't like having to apply the mud and then apply the tape. That whole part of it, having to apply the tape by hand before you wipe it, is a whole extra step that just sucks. So yeah, this is my preferred method of taping, even though it's messy on the hands and I get a little bit more of it on my clothes. The fact that I can put 250 feet of tape in a bucket and just run it around the room, slap that tape on, I can get way more linear feet of tape on the wall or ceiling before having to wipe it out. And the other thing, the last thing I like about this method, way more than the tubed method, is the mud gets a really good chance to soak into the tape and really get saturated. Whereas this one, it's really similar to hand taping. The mud goes on the joint, tape goes on, gets wiped out. So it doesn't get that chance to really saturate and, take on that paper mache for adults form that it usually does. So anyways, guys, that's what I think of this. So This is not linked in the comments below. If you want to find one, go find it. Maybe you love it. If you do use this method in the comments, I mean, I'm sure you've already told me I suck and how good you are at it. But anyways, I will link this in the description because I think this is a fantastic tool. About 200 bucks Canadian. I don't know what it is in the Amazon link if I can find one. But yeah, that one's well worth it. I love taping that way. If you do any amount of taping, you know, like say you're a handyman or a contractor and you do a reasonable amount of taping, it's worth investing in. Or if you have, like, say, a whole basement to do, you know, if you're taping your own place, you have a whole basement, that's gonna save you time and money. I definitely recommend that over hand taping any day of the week. I recommend it over the compound tube and the applicator any day of the week. Anyways, that's all I have to say, guys. So hopefully you get the idea. It's one more way of applying tape. It's just one that I don't like. So thanks for watching, Vancouver Drywallery Carpenter, and till the next video. Guys, I got a messed up thumb. I'm really cramping my style here right now. And a brand new knife that I didn't quite sand enough. So those are my excuses. I like my super taper. I'll take it any day of the week. I can't even put my thumbs up. Thumbs up. Must be bad glare there.